In 2157, as the massive alien ship emerged from the inky blackness above Earth, Commander Sarah Chen realized that humanity's greatest challenge was about to begin. Sarah stood on the bridge of the IS Horizon, Earth's most advanced space station, her heart racing as she watched the alien vessel approach. Its sleek, obsidian surface seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, creating an ominous silhouette against the starry backdrop. "All stations report," Sarah commanded, her voice steady despite the tension coursing through her body. "Weapons systems ready, Commander," Lieutenant Jack O'Neill responded, his fingers hovering over the controls. "Communications standing by," Ensign Maria Rodriguez added, her eyes fixed on the incoming transmission data. As the alien ship drew closer, a shimmering beam of light erupted from its bow, engulfing the ISS horizon. Sarah braced herself, expecting the worst, but instead of destruction, a holographic image materialized on the bridge. The being before them was unlike anything they had ever seen. Tall and slender, with iridescent skin that seemed to shift colors with each movement, the alien regarded them with four deep-set eyes that glowed with an otherworldly intelligence. "Greetings, humans," the alien spoke, its voice resonating in their minds rather than their ears. "I am Ambassador Zix of the Galactic Confederation. We come seeking alliance and cooperation." Sarah stepped forward, her training kicking in despite the surreal nature of the situation. "I am Commander Sarah Chen of Earth. We welcome you in peace and hope for mutual understanding." As the initial shock wore off, the reality of first contact began to sink in. Over the next few weeks, Earth's governments scrambled to establish diplomatic relations with the Galactic Confederation. The aliens, calling themselves the Arxa, shared advanced technology and knowledge, promising to usher humanity into a new age of prosperity and interstellar travel. But not everyone on Earth welcomed the alien presence. Dr. Elias Blackwood, a renowned xenobiologist, voiced his concerns during a heated United Nations session. "We're moving too fast," Blackwood argued, his weathered face etched with worry. "We know nothing about their true intentions or the potential consequences of adopting their technology. We need time to study and understand before we commit to any alliances." His words fell on deaf ears as world leaders, dazzled by the promise of advanced alien tech, rushed to embrace the Arxa. Within months, Earth's major cities were transformed by sleek, alien-inspired architecture and vehicles that defied gravity. Sarah, now serving as Earth's liaison to the Arxa, couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. During a private meeting with Ambassador Zix aboard the alien flagship, she noticed something disturbing. "Ambassador," Sarah began cautiously, "I couldn't help but notice the extensive weapon systems on your ship. Are they standard for diplomatic vessels in the Confederation?" Zix's color shifted to a deep purple, a reaction Sarah had come to associate with discomfort or evasion. "Merely a precaution, Commander Chen. The galaxy can be a dangerous place for unprepared species." As Sarah left the meeting, she couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the Arxa's presence than mere diplomacy. Her suspicions were confirmed when she received an encrypted message from Dr. Blackwood later that night. "Commander, I've discovered something alarming." Blackwood's voice crackled through the secure channel. "The Arxa technology isn't just advanced, it's specifically designed to be incompatible with human physiology. Long-term exposure could have catastrophic effects on our species." Before Sarah could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. She raced to the command center, her heart pounding. On the main screen, dozens of new Arxa ships were emerging from hyperspace, their weapon systems powering up. "This is Ambassador Zix to all Earth forces," the alien's voice boomed through every communication channel. "Your planet is now under the protection of the Galactic Confederation. Resist and you will be subdued. Cooperate and you may yet survive." As panic spread across the globe, Sarah realized that humanity's greatest challenge wasn't just beginning. It had been silently unfolding since the moment of first contact. Now, with Earth on the brink of subjugation, the true cost of peace was about to be revealed. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and Sarah knew that the choices made in the coming hours would determine whether Earth would survive as a free world or become just another conquest in the Arx's galactic empire. The battle for Earth's future was about to begin, and humanity would need every ounce of its legendary resilience, ingenuity, and determination to prevail. The next 48 hours were a blur of frantic activity as Earth's leaders struggled to respond to the Arxer ultimatum. Commander Sarah Chen found herself at the center of a storm, racing between emergency meetings and coordinating with what remained of Earth's military forces. In the depths of the Pentagon, Sarah stood before a group of grim-faced world leaders and military commanders. The room was thick with tension, the air heavy with the weight of impending decisions. "Ladies and gentlemen," Sarah began, her voice steady despite the chaos around them, "we're facing an enemy with technology far beyond our own. Direct confrontation is not an option. We need to buy time and gather intelligence." General Marcus Hawthorne, a battle-hardened veteran with steel-gray hair, leaned forward. "What do you propose, Commander?" Sarah took a deep breath. "We need to engage in diplomacy, even if it's just a ruse. I suggest we propose a galactic summit, inviting representatives from other alien races. It'll give us a chance to assess the Arx's standing in the wider galactic community and potentially find allies." The room erupted in heated debate, but eventually, a consensus was reached. Earth would play for time, feigning cooperation while secretly preparing for resistance. Within days, the Galactic Summit was convened on a neutral space station at the edge of the solar system. Sarah, along with a hand-picked team of Earth's brightest minds, including Dr. Elias Blackwood, represented humanity. As their shuttle docked with the massive station, Sarah marveled at the diversity of alien life forms gathering for the summit. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and compositions moved through the station's corridors, a testament to the vastness and variety of life in the universe. Ambassador Zix greeted the Earth delegation, his iridescent skin shimmering with what Sarah now recognized as smugness. "Welcome, humans. We're pleased you've chosen the path of cooperation. The Galactic Confederation looks forward to guiding your species into a new era of peace and prosperity." Sarah forced a smile, all too aware of the hollow promise behind Zix's words. As they moved towards the main conference chamber, she noticed other alien delegates watching them with a mix of curiosity and what seemed like pity. The summit began with grand speeches and flowery proclamations of galactic unity, but Sarah's attention was focused on gathering every scrap of information she could. She noticed the subtle hierarchies among the alien races, the deference shown to the Arxer, and the nervous glances thrown their way. During a recess, Sarah managed to corner a delegate from a species called the Volox, a race of crystalline beings that communicated through light pulses. After ensuring they weren't being monitored, Sarah took a risk. "Esteemed delegate," she began cautiously, "I sense there's more to the Arx's protection than they're letting on. Has your species had similar experiences?" The Volox's crystalline structure pulsed with a mix of colors that Sarah interpreted as anxiety and resignation. "Human," the being's translated voice whispered, "you are not the first to fall under Arxer protection. They come with promises of peace and advancement, but leave only subjugation in their wake. Resist while you still can." Before Sarah could press for more information, Ambassador Zix appeared, smoothly inserting himself into the conversation. "I hope you're finding the summit enlightening, Commander Chen. The Volox have been loyal members of the Confederation for centuries." The Volox delegate quickly excused itself, leaving Sarah alone with Zix. The Arxer ambassador's eyes seemed to bore into her, and Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. "You seem very interested in galactic politics, Commander," Zix observed, his tone deceptively light. "I do hope you're not getting any misguided ideas about Earth's place in the Confederation." Sarah met his gaze steadily. "Not at all, Ambassador. We're simply eager to learn about our new allies." As the summit progressed, Dr. Blackwood worked tirelessly behind the scenes, analyzing the alien technology on display and conferring with scientists from other races. His findings were troubling. The Arxatech isn't just incompatible with humans, he reported to Sarah in a hushed tone during a private moment. It's designed to slowly alter our biology, making us more dependent on their systems. Given enough time, we'd be unable to survive without their benevolent oversight. Sarah's mind raced with the implications. The Arxa weren't just conquerors. They were reshaping species at a fundamental level, creating a galaxy of dependent vassals. As the summit neared its conclusion, Sarah knew they were running out of time. Earth needed a plan, and fast. In a secure room, shielded from alien surveillance, she gathered her team. "We can't sign any treaties," she declared. "The moment we do, we'll lose what little leverage we have left. We need to stall, to find weaknesses in their technology, and to reach out to other races who might be sympathetic to our cause." Dr. Blackwood nodded grimly. "I may have something that could help." Several of the scientists I've spoken with hinted at an underground resistance movement, if we can make contact. Their planning session was interrupted by an urgent message from Earth. The Arxa ships in orbit had begun deploying strange devices into the atmosphere, devices that bore an unsettling resemblance to the biology-altering technology Dr. Blackwood had warned about. Sarah's blood ran cold. The Arxa were done waiting. The subtle invasion of Earth had begun. As they rushed to their shuttle, preparing to return to a planet under siege, Sarah knew that the real battle was just beginning. The knowledge and potential allies gained at the Galactic Summit would be crucial in the coming fight. Earth's fate hung in the balance, caught between the overwhelming might of the Arxa and the slim hope of a galactic resistance. As their shuttle raced back towards the blue marble they called home, Sarah steeled herself for the challenges ahead. Humanity had never backed down from a fight, and they weren't about to start now. The cost of peace had been revealed, and it was a price they refused to pay. As Commander Sarah Chen's shuttle pierced Earth's atmosphere, the true extent of the Arxa's invasion became clear. Strange, shimmering fields covered major cities, while alien devices hovered in the stratosphere, releasing an imperceptible mist that slowly permeated the air. "My God," Dr. Blackwood whispered, his face pressed against the viewport. "They're terraforming our planet right under our noses." Sarah's jaw clenched. "Not if we have anything to say about it." Their shuttle touched down at a hidden facility deep in the Rocky Mountains. As they disembarked, they were greeted by a familiar face, General Marcus Hawthorne, looking more haggard than when they'd left for the summit. "Commander, Doctor," he nodded grimly. "Welcome to Operation Prometheus." Inside the facility, a hive of activity greeted them. Scientists and engineers from around the world worked feverishly, surrounded by a mix of human and scavenged alien technology. "We've been busy," Hawthorne explained as he led them through the complex. "The moment those Arxa devices appeared, we knew we had to act fast. Every scientist, every engineer, every hacker worth their salt has been working around the clock to find a way to fight back." They entered a large chamber dominated by a holographic display of Earth, red dots indicating Arxa presence. Sarah's heart sank at the sheer number of incursions. "It looks bad," Hawthorne admitted, "but we've got a few tricks up our sleeve. Dr. Blackwood, if you would." Elias stepped forward, his eyes glinting with a mix of excitement and trepidation. "During the summit, I managed to collect data on various alien technologies, including some from species clearly chafing under Arxa rule. By combining this with our own research, we've made some breakthroughs." He gestured, and the hologram changed to display a complex schematic. "This is Project Achilles. It's a virus, but not a biological one. It's designed to infect and disrupt Arxa technology at its core." Sarah leaned in, studying the intricate design. "How does it work?" "It exploits a fundamental flaw in the Arxa's quantum communication network," Elias explained. "Once deployed, it will spread through their systems, causing cascading failures. But here's the clever part. It leaves all other alien tech untouched." We're not just fighting back. We're showing the galaxy that the Arxa aren't invincible. Hawthorne nodded approvingly. That's not all. Show them Hephaestus. The hologram shifted again, this time displaying what looked like a modified satellite. This, Elias continued, is our answer to their atmospheric tampering. It's a network of high-altitude devices that can neutralize the Arxa's terraforming agents and begin reversing the damage. Sarah felt a surge of pride. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, humanity's ingenuity shone through. This is incredible work. But how do we deploy these without the Arxa noticing? A new voice joined the conversation. That's where I come in. A young woman stepped forward, her eyes sharp behind thick-rimmed glasses. Zara Patel, Cyber Warfare Division. We've been working on piggybacking our signals onto the Arxa's own communication network. They'll never see us coming. As the team delved deeper into the plans, Sarah was struck by the sheer breadth of human innovation on display. From repurposed civilian technologies to hybrid human-alien designs, every resource had been leveraged in humanity's fight for survival. One project in particular caught her attention, a neural interface that allowed humans to directly interact with alien technology. Is this safe? She asked, eyeing the device warily. As safe as anything else we're doing, replied Dr. Maya Yoshida, the neuroscientist behind the project. It's our best chance at outmaneuvering the Arxa in digital space. Their AI is advanced, but it can't match human creativity and intuition. As the briefing concluded, Sarah felt a mix of hope and apprehension. They had the tools to fight back, but the risks were enormous. When do we strike? She asked Hawthorne. The general's expression was grim but determined. We're calling it Operation Wildfire. We launch in 48 hours. The Arxa have pushed us to the brink, but they've overlooked one crucial fact. There's nothing more dangerous than a human with nothing left to lose. The next 2 days were a whirlwind of preparation. Sarah worked tirelessly with the team, refining strategies and contingencies. The plan was audacious, a coordinated strike against Arxa holdings across the globe, coupled with the deployment of Project Achilles and the Hephaestus network. As the hour of reckoning approached, Sarah addressed the assembled team. Looking out at the sea of determined faces, she felt a swell of emotion. I won't lie to you, she began, her voice carrying across the hushed room. What we're about to attempt has never been done before. We're taking on an enemy with technology far beyond our own, an enemy that's conquered countless worlds. But they've never faced humanity before. She paused, making eye contact with as many of her comrades as she could. Throughout our history, we've faced impossible odds. We've stared into the abyss of extinction and clawed our way back. Today we do it again, not just for ourselves, but for every species suffering under Arxa dominion. They thought they could reshape us, mold us into obedient servants. They forgot that humanity doesn't break. We adapt, we innovate, we overcome. Today, we remind the galaxy of what humans are capable of when pushed to the edge. A cheer went up from the assembled crowd, a roar of defiance against the alien oppressors. As Sarah took her position at the command center, she felt a sense of calm settle over her. Win or lose, humanity would show the Arxa and the galaxy that Earth would not go quietly. The screens around her lit up as Operation Wildfire commenced. Across the globe, human resistance cells sprang into action. Hephaestus satellites soared into the upper atmosphere, while Project Achilles warmed its way into the Arxa network. As chaos erupted in orbit and alien ships began to falter, Sarah allowed herself a small, grim smile. The battle for Earth had begun in earnest, and humanity's ingenuity was about to be unleashed upon an unsuspecting galaxy. The Arxa had sown the wind. Now, they would reap the whirlwind. The command center erupted into a frenzy of activity as Operation Wildfire unfolded. Holographic displays flickered with real-time data from across the globe and low Earth orbit. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the heart of it all, her eyes darting from screen to screen, coordinating humanity's desperate counterattack. Project Achilles is online. Zara Patel called out, her fingers flying over her console. ARXA systems are experiencing cascading failures across the board. Sarah allowed herself a moment of satisfaction as she watched red dots representing ARXA ships and installations blink out one by one. But she knew better than to celebrate too early. Status on the Hephaestus network. Dr. Maya Yoshida's voice crackled over the comms. Satellites are in position and coming online. We're already seeing a reduction in atmospheric contaminants over major population centers. For a brief, shining moment, it seemed as though humanity's audacious plan was working flawlessly. Then, reality struck back with brutal force. New contacts, a sensor operator shouted. Massive ARXA fleet dropping out of FTL at the edge of the solar system. Sarah's blood ran cold. They had anticipated reinforcements, but not on this scale. The holographic display of the solar system was suddenly swarming with hostile markers, easily outnumbering Earth's defending forces 10-1. They're not slowing down, General Hawthorne observed grimly. They're going to punch right through our outer defenses. Sarah's mind raced. Their plan had hinged on disrupting the ARXA long enough to solidify their defenses and potentially make contact with alien resistance movements. This overwhelming force changed everything. Zara, what's the status of Project Achilles? Sarah demanded. The young hacker's face was a mask of concentration. It's working, but the new fleet seems to be operating on a different system architecture. The virus is spreading slower than anticipated. Dr. Blackwood, any ideas? Sarah turned to the xenobiologist, who was furiously analyzing the incoming data. Elias looked up, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and excitement. The neural interface. If we can directly connect to their systems, we might be able to adapt the virus on the fly. It was a desperate plan, bordering on suicidal. But as the first waves of ARXA ships engaged Earth's outer defenses, Sarah knew they were out of options. Do it, she ordered. I'll interface personally. Despite protests from her team, Sarah was soon strapped into the neural interface chair, electrodes attached to her temples. As Dr. Yoshida initiated the link, Sarah felt her consciousness expand, merging with the vast digital landscape of the ARXA network. The sensation was overwhelming. Alien thought patterns and data streams bombarded her mind, threatening to drown out her sense of self. But Sarah clung to her humanity, using it as an anchor in the digital storm. Through the haze of information, she sensed the ARXA battle plans unfolding. With a thought, she redirected Project Achilles, guiding it through the labyrinthine alien firewalls. In the physical world, the battle raged across the solar system. Earth's forces, bolstered by the failing ARXA technology, fought with desperate valor. Makeshift weapons cobbled together from scavenged alien tech scored hits against ARXA capital ships. Human pilots, linked to their crafts through inferior versions of the neural interface, performed maneuvers that defied both physics and logic. But for every ARXA ship destroyed, 2 more took its place. The sheer numbers of the invading force were overwhelming, pushing steadily towards Earth. In orbit, the crew of the ISS Horizon found themselves on the front lines. Captain Jack O'Neill, Sarah's former lieutenant, coordinated a ragtag fleet of retrofitted satellites and hastily armed civilian spacecraft. We can't hold them much longer. Jack's voice crackled through the comms. Where's that reinforced firewall you promised us, Commander? But Sarah couldn't respond. Deep in the neural interface, she was locked in a battle of wills against the ARXA. Project Achilles had evolved beyond its original programming, becoming a digital entity that Sarah wielded like a weapon of thought. As she delved deeper into the ARXA systems, Sarah made a startling discovery. The ARXA weren't just invaders, they were fleeing from something. Hidden beneath layers of encrypted data was evidence of a greater threat, one that had driven the ARXA to conquer and adapt other species in a desperate bid for survival. The realization hit Sarah like a physical blow. The ARXA were afraid, and fear made them dangerous, but it also made them vulnerable. With renewed determination, Sarah pushed harder, using the full power of human creativity and desperation to rewrite the Arxa battle plans from within. Slowly, inexorably, the tide of the battle began to turn. In space, Arxa ships began to falter, their coordinated attacks dissolving into chaos. On Earth, the Hephaestus network surged with power, accelerating the cleansing of the atmosphere. But victory came at a cost. As Sarah pushed the neural interface beyond its limits, she could feel her own mind beginning to fray. The boundaries between human and machine, between Sarah Chen and Project Achilles, were blurring. In a final, desperate gambit, Sarah directed all her will against the core of the Arxa fleet. With a thought that felt like a scream, she triggered a cascade failure that ripped through the invading armada. In the physical world, the sky lit up as Arxa ships exploded or fell out of orbit. The few remaining vessels turned tail and fled, jumping to FTL in a panic. As the cheers of victory echoed through the command center, Dr. Yoshida rushed to disengage Sarah from the neural interface. The commander's body was rigid, blood trickling from her nose and ears. Sarah, can you hear me?" Elias called out, cradling her head as the electrodes were removed. For a long, terrifying moment, there was no response. Then, slowly, Sarah's eyes fluttered open, but the gaze that met them was changed, filled with an otherworldly knowledge that hadn't been there before. "It's not over," Sarah whispered, her voice hoarse. "The Arxa, they're just the beginning. There's something out there, something worse, and it's coming." As medical personnel rushed to attend to their hero, the taste of victory turned bitter. Humanity had won the battle for Earth, but Sarah's words hung in the air like a prophecy of doom. They had survived the Arxa invasion, but at what cost? And what greater threat lurked in the depths of space, driving even their conquerors to desperate acts? As the first light of dawn broke over a battered but free Earth, humanity faced an uncertain future. They had proven their worth among the stars, but their greatest challenge still lay ahead. The cost of peace had been high, but the price of survival might be higher still. The battle for Earth was over. The war for the galaxy had just begun. The days following Earth's victory over the Arxa invasion were a blur of frantic activity. As the planet celebrated its hard-won freedom, Commander Sarah Chen found herself isolated in a secure medical facility, her mind struggling to process the vast amount of alien knowledge she had absorbed during the neural interface. Dr. Elias Blackwood rarely left her side, working tirelessly to help Sarah integrate her new understanding without losing her humanity. "It's like trying to pour an ocean into a teacup," Sarah explained during one of her lucid moments, her eyes unfocused as if seeing beyond the room. Meanwhile, the world began the monumental task of rebuilding. The Hephaestus network continued its work, gradually purifying Earth's atmosphere of Arxa contaminants. Zora Patel led efforts to adapt salvaged alien technology, strengthening Earth's defenses against future threats. But even as humanity reveled in its triumph, a sense of unease permeated the upper echelons of global leadership. Sarah's warning about a greater threat loomed large, and the question on everyone's mind was, what now? The answer came sooner than anyone expected. Exactly 1 week after the Arxa retreat, a new alien ship appeared in Earth orbit. Unlike the aggressive posturing of the Arxa fleet, this vessel made no hostile moves. Instead, it broadcast a simple message on all frequencies: "We come in peace and solidarity. We are the resistance." In the UN Security Council chamber, hastily converted into Earth's impromptu center for extraterrestrial relations, tension was palpable as the alien delegation was ushered in. General Hawthorne, now serving as Earth's military liaison, watched warily as the diverse group of aliens entered. There were representatives from at least 5 different species, including a Volox, the crystalline being Sarah had spoken to during the Galactic summit. The lead alien stepped forward, tall and willowy, with 4 arms and skin that seemed to shimmer with bioluminescence. It regarded the assembled humans with large, expressive eyes. "Greetings, people of Earth. I am Xandri, leader of the Galactic resistance against Arxa domination. We have watched your battle with great interest and hope. Before anyone could respond, the doors burst open. Sarah Chen strode in, still pale and shaky, but with a fierce determination in her eyes. Dr. Blackwood followed close behind, a worried expression on his face. Commander Chen, General Hawthorne began, "You shouldn't be." "I need to be here," Sarah cut him off, her gaze locked on Sandry. "You're here because of what's coming, the threat behind the Arxa." Sandry's bioluminescence pulsed with surprise. "You know." Sarah nodded grimly. "I saw it in their networks. A darkness at the edge of the galaxy, consuming everything in its path. The Arxa's conquests, their forced evolution of other species, it's all been in preparation for this threat." The chamber erupted in murmurs of shock and disbelief. Sandry raised all four hands, calling for silence. "What the human says is true," the alien confirmed. "We call it the Void. It has already consumed dozens of star systems on the galactic fringe. The Arxa believed that by forcibly uplifting and unifying the galaxy under their rule, they could create a force capable of stopping the Void. But their methods were monstrous." The Volox delegate chimed in, its crystalline form pulsing with emotion. "They became no better than the threat they sought to stop." General Hawthorne leaned forward, his expression grave. "And now you're here because you did the impossible," Sandry replied. "You stood against the Arxa and won. More than that, the way you fought, your adaptability, your ingenuity, it's unlike anything we've seen. We believe that humanity might be the key to unifying the galaxy and facing the Void the right way." The implications of Sandry's words hung heavy in the air. Humanity, barely recovering from one extraterrestrial threat, was being asked to spearhead the fight against an even greater danger. Sarah, her mind racing with the knowledge gleaned from the Arxa networks, saw the pieces falling into place. "You need our innovation," she said, "our ability to think outside the box, to do the impossible." Sandry nodded solemnly. "We offer an alliance. Not subjugation like the Arxa, but true partnership. We will share our technology, our resources. In return, we ask for your help in building a true galactic coalition, one strong enough to face the Void." The human delegates exchanged uneasy glances. The offer was tempting, but the risks were enormous. Dr. Blackwood spoke up, his scientific curiosity piqued. "This Void, what exactly is it? A natural phenomenon? A hostile species?" The alien delegates shared a look that could only be described as haunted. The Volox answered, its voice somber. "We don't know. Our most advanced probes and long-range sensors fail at its edge. All we know is that it consumes everything, matter, energy, even space-time itself, and it's growing." General Hawthorne's voice was gruff but determined. "How long do we have?" At its current rate of expansion, Sandry's bioluminescence dimmed, less than a decade before it reaches the core worlds of the galaxy. The room fell silent as the weight of the situation sank in. This was no longer just about Earth or even humanity. The fate of the entire galaxy, perhaps the universe itself, hung in the balance. Sarah stepped forward, her posture straight despite her weakened state. The alien knowledge inside her mind swirled, showing her possibilities and dangers beyond human imagination. But at her core, the indomitable human spirit that had led Earth to victory burned bright. 10 years to save the galaxy, she said, a hint of a wry smile on her lips. Sounds impossible. She turned to face the room, her gaze sweeping over humans and aliens alike. But if there's one thing humanity has proven, it's that impossible is just another challenge to overcome. We beat the Arxa against all odds. We can beat this too. Sarah extended her hand to Xandri. Earth accepts your alliance. Let's show the galaxy what we can do when we work together. As human and alien hands clasped in a historic handshake, a new chapter in galactic history began. The road ahead would be fraught with dangers, political minefields, and scientific challenges beyond imagination. But for the first time since the Arxer invasion, there was a spark of true hope. Humanity had earned its place among the stars. Now they would lead the charge into the unknown, carrying the hopes of countless species with them. The cost of peace had been high, but the prize, the survival of all sentient life, was worth any price. As the alliance was formalized and plans began to take shape, Sarah felt the weight of destiny settling on her shoulders. The battle for Earth had been won. The war for the future of the galaxy was about to begin. And humanity, with all its flaws and all its potential, would be at the forefront. 5 years had passed since the formation of the Galactic Alliance, and Earth had undergone a transformation that would have been unimaginable half a decade earlier. The planet bustled with a mix of human and alien activity, its cities now adorned with a blend of terrestrial and extraterrestrial architecture. Spaceports hummed with activity as ships from dozens of species came and went, carrying diplomats, scientists, and warriors united in their cause against the encroaching void. At the heart of this new Earth stood the Nexus, a massive structure that served as both the headquarters of the Galactic Alliance and the focal point of their efforts against the cosmic threat. It was here, in a conference room with a view of the reimagined skyline of New Geneva, that Commander, now Admiral, Sarah Chen found herself once again at the center of humanity's greatest challenge. The room was filled with an eclectic mix of beings. Xandri, the willowy alien who had first proposed the alliance, stood beside holographic representations of leaders from across the galaxy. Dr. Elias Blackwood, his hair now streaked with gray, pored over data streams with a team of multi-species scientists. Zara Patel, having risen to become Earth's foremost expert in xenotechnology, manipulated a complex 3D model of the galaxy in the center of the room. Sarah took a moment to marvel at how far they had come. The knowledge she had gained from the Arxer networks, once an overwhelming burden, had become an invaluable asset. With the help of allied species and human innovation, they had made strides that would have taken centuries under normal circumstances. Admiral, Xandri's melodic voice brought Sarah's attention back to the matter at hand. The latest data from our long-range probes is concerning. The galactic model zoomed in on the edge of the void. What had once been a slowly encroaching darkness was now a roiling mass of anti-reality, tendrils of nothingness reaching out to grasp at nearby star systems. "It's accelerating," Sarah stated, her voice grim. It wasn't a question. Dr. Blackwood nodded, his face etched with worry. "At its current rate of expansion, we've lost 2 years off our original estimate. We have less than 3 years before it reaches the first core worlds." The room erupted into a cacophony of worried voices and flashing bioluminescence. Sarah raised a hand, calling for silence. "We always knew this would be a race against time," she said, her voice steady. "This just means we need to accelerate our plans. Zara, what's the status on Project Lightbringer?" Zara manipulated the holographic controls, bringing up schematics for a massive device. "The prototype is nearly complete. We've successfully integrated technology from 17 different species, including some reverse-engineered Arxer systems. In theory, it should be capable of generating a controlled singularity that could counteract the void's expansion." "In theory," a gravelly voice echoed. General Hawthorne, now well into his 70s, but still as sharp as ever, leaned forward. "But we've never tested anything like this on such a scale. The power requirements alone are staggering." "Which is why we can't rely on a single solution," Sarah replied. She turned to the assembled aliens. "What's the status of the evacuation plans for the outer worlds?" A holographic representation of a Volux crystal pulsed as it spoke. "We've managed to relocate 60% of the populations from the most at-risk systems. But there's growing unrest. People are scared, and some are beginning to lose faith." Sarah nodded, understanding all too well the weight of fear and uncertainty. "Then we need to give them hope, not just empty words, but a demonstration that we can fight back against the void." She turned to Xandri. "The Arxer fleet we defeated, we've spent years studying their ships, adapting their technology, I think it's time we put it to use. Xandri's bioluminescence pulsed with surprise. You want to take the fight directly to the void? Admiral, with all due respect, we don't know what effect our weapons would have, if any. No, Sarah agreed. We don't. But we can't wait for the perfect solution. We need to buy time, and we need to show the galaxy that the void can be fought. She manipulated the galactic model, highlighting a region at the edge of the void's expansion. Here, a joint task force using modified ARXA ships and our most advanced weapons. We hit the void with everything we've got, gather as much data as we can, and show everyone that we're not going down without a fight. The room fell silent as the implications of Sarah's plans sank in. It was audacious, potentially suicidal, but it carried the undeniable stamp of human thinking that had drawn their allies to Earth in the first place. After a long moment, Xandri spoke. It's dangerous. But you're right. We need to act. The Galactic Alliance stands with you, Admiral Chen. As the meeting adjourned and plans were set in motion, Sarah found herself looking out over the transformed landscape of Earth. The cost of reaching this point had been high. Millions of lives lost, cultures forever changed, the very nature of human society altered by their sudden leap onto the galactic stage. But as she watched humans and aliens working side by side, united against an existential threat, Sarah felt a swell of pride. This was humanity's greatest strength, the ability to adapt, to innovate, to face impossible odds with determination and hope. Dr. Blackwood joined her at the window. Penny for your thoughts, Admiral. Sarah smiled softly. Just thinking about how far we've come. 5 years ago, we were fighting for our survival against the ARXA. Now we're leading a galactic alliance against a threat to all existence. Elias nodded, his eyes distant. The cost has been high. Yes, Sarah agreed, but the alternative was extinction. We've earned our place among the stars, Elias. Now we have to prove we deserve it. As if on cue, a brilliant light streaked across the sky, a ship, breaking atmosphere on its way to join the growing fleet that would soon challenge the void itself. Sarah straightened, squaring her shoulders. The weight of responsibility was immense, but she bore it with the strength that had seen humanity through its darkest hours. Come on, she said to Elias. We have a universe to save. As they walked back into the Nexus, the bustle of activity around them took on new meaning. This was no longer just about survival. It was about securing a future for all sentient life. The road ahead would be fraught with danger and sacrifice, but humanity had proven time and again that the impossible was simply a challenge to be overcome. The cost of peace had been high, but the price of victory would be higher still. Yet as long as there were stars in the sky and hope in their hearts, humanity and their allies would face the void with unwavering resolve. The battle for Earth was long over. The war for existence itself was about to begin, and humanity, once alone in the cosmos, now stood at the forefront of the greatest alliance the galaxy had ever known. The future, with all its uncertainty and promise, awaited.